All right, what up, y'all? Let's get into a long section. Originally, I was going to intend this video to be long, but I think I need to do an intro video first before I get into the nitty gritty on everything. And this is going to be start of the neutral section. And the reason why Conceptual Yap has a neutral section is because I don't think people remember that neutral is a concept. And that is what I'm going to be trying to push very heavily in this video of reminding yourself that neutral is a concept. It's not something that you can be good at playing, because how do you get good at playing a state of being? And I'll explain more on that in a second. I expect to do a lot of individual concept videos within this to understand concepts around playing neutral outside of other things I've already did before this that actually aid to you being able to play neutral. So all the videos prior to this was a very convoluted way of me talking about how to play neutral, but it's not playing neutral as much as you're trying to gain advantage and get out of the state of neutral. And that's what I want to get across. And I think the perfect game to actually do this is showcasing Koihime. So, if you have never seen Koihime Enbu, this is a one-man dev game that has one of the best gaming engines ever. There's no way for me to push this game in reality and understand how it looks, expect people to play it. But I think this is a glorious game once it comes to actually understanding how fighting games work fundamentally, especially in the case of neutral, because this is a genuine footsie fighter. Like, you play this game genuinely based off of how well you can play footsies and have basic concepts of fighting games layered in to sit there and do well at this game. Now, I won't act like this game isn't kind of degenerate, especially depending on how you feel. The character on the right that's on the freaking overlay art will probably put you some way. But Koihime is genuinely a good game, especially if you want to pick it up just to be good at fundamentally playing fighting games. And I'm going to showcase footage in this game why, as I yap genuinely for the first time over neutral. So, legit, to start this off, I need to just go back to the basics that I think people forget. Neutral is a state. It is not something you can be good at playing once it is a state of being. Like, shit you not, nothing's happening here. Even with them walking, nothing's happening here. No one has advantage. I do not know these players by name, so I'm not going to act like I do. I will use the character names for this. To the left is Gakushin, to the right is Ryofu. Like, legitimately, like, even with the Gakushin player walking back, they're both still in neutral. Like, nothing has changed the state of being. In order to change the state of being, one of them has to gain offensive advantage, and it can't be just positional. And I think that's something that is lost in the sauce, that, like, even with positional advantage, it does not mean you're at genuine advantage. Even though I might have said that earlier, where it feels like that could be the case, it is not. Sometimes you can use your positional disadvantage to actually gain offensive advantage. Like, that is something that can genuinely happen. And that is also one of the few concepts of with punishing and slash or playing footsies comes into play in navigating the state of neutral. And I'm going to be pushing that neutral is a state throughout this whole video because it's that important. And I think grasping neutral as a state will actually work more to any new player's benefits and understanding how to navigate it well, compared to saying hearing the sayings of you need to be good at playing neutral. What? This person is so good at playing neutral. This person's neutral is good. Where it's like, how are you good at a state of being? Like, legitimately, like, think about it this way. if you ask me, do I like peanut butter and jelly versus a bologna sandwich, and I say I'm neutral, I just said I don't have a preference for either. That's what I said. And that is the same case for playing a fighting game in this case, where it's like they're not at advantage or disadvantage. They can be hit or be the one hitting someone. Neither's happening. So that's neutral. And approaching neutral from that concept, I feel, will drive better thought and understanding how to play around being in that state of neutral over thinking that you have to get good at it. Because how do you get good at it once you know you're doing nothing, right? So that's why overarching this section is because neutral is a concept. Because advantage is taken there only because someone did a wild attempt of an overcommittal far C in neutral state that is punishable on block from this rank, as showcased here, to try to win advantage and get out of the state of neutral. And I actually have not seen this VOD, so that was just like perfect timing. I have not seen this VOD at all. I've been meaning to look at it since Conroy posted in the Kohime server for a while because I haven't been able to watch Kohime. Cool. Like, this game is highly lenient on your ability to fundamentally play fighting games. This is why I'm showcasing this footage. Because a lot of this is just fundamentals of fighting games where it comes to understanding fundamental concepts of whiff punishing, which you have seen, on top of just like pressing advantage through, I forgot that was a normal. Pressing advantage through literally positioning and understanding what value is better or to lead you to more reward. Everything I have talked about prior is something that aids you being able to play neutral well, because the fact that neutral is genuinely, like, as the state of it is genuinely a whole bunch of concepts layered on top of each other just so you can gain advantage. And I think people like lost that plot on that so much, which is why I'm talking about this. Because originally I wasn't planning on having this long of an intro video for it, but I think it's great for me to sit there and just have footage of a game that is solely based off of you needing to be able to play neutral. Right? That coin term that we're so used to hearing, you need to be able to play neutral. Once it's really, you need to navigate being in the neutral state against your opponent also in the neutral state and sit there and gain advantage. So, like, the title for this video is going to be understanding that you navigate neutral versus playing it. Because you don't play neutral, you navigate it. Because you can navigate being in a state of being. You can just sit there and decide that that reference I did earlier, it's like I can decide to lean more towards a bologna sandwich over the peanut butter and jelly, or vice versa. I can navigate to that decision based off of, like, all right, put both in front of me, I eat both and see what happens. But until I decide on one, I'm still neutral to both. Like, legitimately, I'm still neutral to both. So let me try to. Never mind. I don't have to skip past anything. I was just like, let me try to skip back and get back into a match. Arcade port of this is so goofy because it looks like console now. It just looks legitimately just looks like console now. Kakotan. All right. So, like, round start. Bang. They both ran forward. Again, nothing's happened. One of them's gonna press a button. Okay, so now Gakushin stopped neutral. Neutral state has ended. Gakushin, technically, for technical sake, even though this game, a lot of things are actually negative, very few plus frames in this game, which is why I'm saying this is a game fundamentally where you have to be able to be fundamentally solid. Like, Gakushin technically ended neutral. Gakushin's at quote unquote advantage from a glance, but this could be seen as disadvantage knowing how our buttons work. proven point there with the counterattack, right? And who knows at this rate, because Brett's in Japan, this could be fucking Brett playing Kakotan over there. Who knows right now? But like legit, like all of this whiffing and everything. Oh, whiff punish. You whiffed. I whiffed. Oh, I projectile punished. All right, cool. Whiff punishing / footsies. Wow, that's just a concept that you add to playing the neutral state so you can get advantage. Stare down. Cool. All right. Poking. Right? Because I referred to pokes as starters and stuff like that if you watch the character guide or something. But you have to also keep in mind, poking is something that actually genuinely can used as a concept and understanding what poking is. And that's why I was like, this is going to be a series of a whole bunch of videos. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of concepts that aid you navigating the neutral state. But I have to start with this video because this is literally my basis. I can't say it might not work for you coming from this train of thought. There are a lot of people that have gotten good from hearing people saying that you need to be able to play neutral well, as much as I do not agree with that wording. But if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you want my take on what is happening because you're hearing me quote unquote yap. And from my take, it's like you can't be good at playing a state of being, but you can navigate around it, and understanding how you can navigate around it through concepts, because neutral in general, in terms of fighting games, past being a state is a concept, is what's going to aid you into doing things. So in this case, like after this jump over, they have the stare down here, right? This easily is a tempo switch. Tempo is something that I have talked about greatly to a lot of people about being something that can literally aid you in playing, because of the fact that you are forcing the tempo of the game or the speed of the game to change. And this is one of those things I'm going to get into early. And I'm very glad that the stare down happened because it's the perfect thing to go over. And I'm going to rewind right before. So we're 10 seconds before, right? Buttons are being pressed. This both sides, buttons are being pressed. All that happened, got hit, walked up into a stare down. So they went from actively pressing buttons against each other for literally a whole 10 seconds. Like legitimately a whole 10 seconds before we got to here. Where now they are sitting there staring at each other until that 2B and a Rekka happened. Like, and you could debatably say, or really if you look at the health bar, you can say that during that whole entire time prior to that 10-second stare down, the Gakushin player here was losing because of the fact that they kept getting hit by random strays and getting poked at in quote unquote the state of neutral, the point where they're getting disadvantage. And I'm not talking about the resource disadvantage, just general disadvantage. Well, now it's like them jumping, they jumped over, initially got poked at. The Kakutan player didn't take advantage after getting the Rekka string and sat there and then started the stare down. And for post the stare down, the Gakushin player now gained advantage for. Look and like look what happened just from this tempo switch. Like right, all this happened. Stare down. Gakushin player took advantage. All right, but instead of immediately pressing the advantage and go back to just swinging on them like that, what happened earlier. Like, all right, I'm gonna put you back in another stare down. This is now checking the Kakutan player on how comfortable they are with basically doing nothing. And if you are a Persona player and you have played me in a match, you have probably, if not 95% likely, lost to me for this. I abuse this so much, where a lot of y'all are very uncomfortable with doing nothing. So if I am doing nothing, I make you so uncomfortable because I'm just staring at you, checking you with how antsy you are or how comfortable you are with literally actually taking the advantage you might have and / or joining me in doing nothing, where it's like this Gakushin player said, I'm just going to sit here. And immediately the Kakuton player is like, I don't want a part of that. I'm not comfortable seeing here. So they backed up and then they got poked. because they just weren't comfortable actually dealing with the stare down. And that the tempo drastically switched from two people swinging on each other to now let's take our time. Like that is a tempo switch, and that is a concept you can add to navigating through the state of neutral. And now this is poking, right? Because now, if I recall, this is far B. It should be far B. This is Gakushin's far B. So backed up, gets poked with far B. Cool. Walks up, pokes again with far B. Like there is nothing happening with this far B. It's not cancelable. It is literally just a poke. It is a check. Projectile. All right. Projectile got blocked. Kakutan says like, all right, I'm finally gonna swing on you. Oh, poke again. All right, I'm gonna finally take advantage. And I lied. So far B is cancelable into other normals. I haven't seen it cancelable into a Rekka though. So I'll assume it's just not special cancelable, it is cancelable. But I might just forget how she works. It's been so long since I've seen a Gakushin player. Because only Kai is like the American side Gakushin player that I'm familiar with, and we don't play each other because we're across coasts. Save jump, but we didn't block, I guess. But then we throw our life away with a DP whiff. Committed. All right. All right. Like, look at this tempo change. Like, especially from like 20 seconds earlier, like the Gakushin player was legitimately losing 20 seconds earlier. Like, legit, I will go back. Like, from the resource side, they have been losing 20 seconds ago. This is not in-game time because in-game time doesn't contribute to real life time. But like, it's if not actually like what we could say they've been losing since here, which is this is 40 seconds ago in game. Or 40 seconds ago in the recording time. So we go forward a whole 40 seconds. And now basically they're at the same resource count. Oh, at least health bar wise. Guys, there's a slight difference in meter, but the health deficit drastically changed. Now they're at advantage. Like, and the only thing that drastically changed during this was the tempo. On top of adding some other concepts in, like poking. That was a crazy read. Jab, all right, cool. Poke, cool. Like literally, the whole game changed off of some pokes. Like a tempo change and some pokes. And that's not the only way to sit there and do everything. Because like, look, because now they're playing a whole different game from what happened in that first round at the top of the round. So they went from literally just swinging at each other to now it's like the Gakushin has basically commanded the game just from a simple tempo change. Now they're getting back to kind of just swinging at each other, right? Where now it's like the Gakushin player is like, all right, I kind of have a feel for what you're doing now, and is now really doing things. All right, I will now try to skip to the next Rofu player. So going back in, hopefully, because this is a different matchup, we're going to see different things because this is a drastically different way approach from character play styles. But now it's like, keep in mind, during this matchup, the Gakushin player literally has less range than the Rofu player. She has a staff versus a girl that's using her fist and legs just trying to punch you. So, highly just because of that, there's going to be a whole different type of thing now happening in game. Because now it's like, all right, you have to play your range as well. It's not as simple as like, ooh, let me just sit there and try to get in, right? And you can see that directly from the Rofu players' play, where it's like they're taking opportunities specifically at this point to try to abuse their range. Where it's like, all right, I have this range over you, so it's like I'm gonna try to sit there and keep you at a range where you're at disadvantage. Which this is spacing. So this goes into positioning. And this is not space, but spacing, which is a different thing. The spacing is like a sub-concept of space, where understanding how your toolkit works, what's your toolkit range, especially in this game. Like if you saw the way we have to read patch notes in this game, because the actual space and range of normals change in this game drastically per update, where it actually says that the range was reduced by however much, which does exist for this game, legitimately. And that plays into this game a lot because of the fact that it's like you have to play matchups like this where it's like a character can literally dominate you just from abusing what they're gifted at with their toolkit. Nice confirm. And also, you see, it's like damage is not naturally high in this game either. There are cases where you can sit there and nuke somebody, don't get me wrong. But it's like you are leaning on playing a game where it's like you have to be able to legitimately just play well enough to sit there and just like make it count. Nice air to air. All right. That was like a commitment. Nice throw tech. Trap hole. Ooh, speaking of, here's where the damage happens. So, I should turn the game up real quick. I'm going to turn this VOD up real quick. I've had it super low where you haven't heard anything. So let's get into this. And this is the thing that sets Koihime apart. So, natural damage in this game is not high. It is not from your normal pokes and counter hits. Until the concept of Hogeki comes in. So Hogeki, which is basically the equivalent of a fatal counter hit, is reads off of certain tools that you have in your personal character's toolkit. Where if that happens, the world though, like you might get nuked. Ryofu with no meter is not the best at getting damage. He still does what's average, which is like 4 to 5k, and then everyone has 12k health in this game, so it still is a lot. But some characters, like you get hit, you get Hogeki'd by like a 6B starter, which is universal overhead. And that 6B or whatever, automatically, like when other characters, it's like 4, 5k, like we're talking 6, maybe 7, especially because you can actively build meter in the middle of these combos, unlike other games. So once you get called out for navigating neutral wrong, things like this happen. And this is the highlight of this game. This is probably like the most blurry image to stop on possible. Where it's like this game caters to you being able to sit there and navigate the state of neutral well, so shit like this doesn't happen to you. 4.5, and you're in positional disadvantage in the corner. Overcommitted. Was too high to actually get that confirmed. Thrown. Which Rofu's throw range is actually pretty far. I think it hits from like range 1. Another concept I will get into. Faking disadvantage. So this is a very specific thing. Like this is like I'm going to be trying to wheedle in some of the concepts I'm going to introduce through this section in, because everything's going to be abstract and nuanced. But knowing how to abuse frame data, I think that's something that once I actually talk more towards offense will have even more greater effect than it will in the case of me talking about neutral. But I think I should talk about it in neutral first, because it is a great concept to understand, of truly understanding static difference and how static difference plays into a fighting game, or frame data. My bad. I'm being old, and a lot of people are not used to hearing the term static difference or instead of frame advantage. But how to abuse your frame advantage or your frame disadvantage to get value slash reward. And that's what happened here, where it's like the close B, pretty sure it was close B. If it wasn't close B, it was far B. It's one of the two. But either way, actually, it has to be far B because close B is +1 if I. But far B is like -4 if I'm recalling off top. With it being -4, Gakushin actually having rather fast buttons. Gakushin thought, oh, I can press here. But the thing is, -4 at a range like this, especially when you're the character with greater range, makes it so being able to cancel into an EX DP, because a lot of the EX moves in this game are DPs, sets up a scenario where you can gain reward. Because now you made someone have the disbelief that they can now press a button and take advantage, and it really turned out that they are still at disadvantage versus that close C that's actually just straight up just negative. Get punished. Throw takes advantage, walks in. So now the Gakushin player is like sitting there. It's like, all right, I have to get in on you because it's tired of getting zoned out, right? And they're basically playing at the same tempo that the Gakushin player forced and was comfortable with against the Kakotan player the last match. Like legit, like they are playing at that same tempo. So tempo hasn't changed. Just new concepts have been introduced. So I don't remember, and I'm going to sit there and probably say this wrong. I do not feel like checking the wiki. I really don't. There's been a lot of updates that we have to do, especially like this. This is a one-man dev that updates the game, not super frequently, but there's multiple versions of the game. I do not remember specifically if throw is neutral or negative on throw tech. If I recall, it's neutral. So the attacker is actually not the throw. The person initiating the throw is not negative. I'm pretty sure it's actually neutral. So in this case, the super punish is just abusing that fact. EXEP. Oh, Hogeki of their own. Oh, crazy. Oh wow, and they have actual optimals. This is gonna hurt. So they actually probably died here. Ooh, just short. Nice EXDP. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't spend the 3 bar for the super. Oh, they were just short. Oh, that's crazy. So yeah, they had to spend the. I would have did EX Rekka then. I thought the game somehow crashed on cab. So back to this state of nothing, right? Every game starts like this. No matter what fighting game you play, every game starts like this. So this state of nothing is genuinely a state of nothing, and until something like that happens, crazy timing. You're also navigating neutral. Like, don't get that misconstrued. Like you navigate neutral. You don't play it well. Like you cannot play neutral. I cannot say that enough. You navigate through it. You don't play it. And the way you navigate through it is adding layers to your quote unquote state to sit. This is hard to word. You have to add layers of concepts to the state of being that you're presenting to make it so you can gain advantage. You are literally, your whole goal is to gain advantage. And just because you gain advantage doesn't mean you keep advantage. And this game is great at showcasing that. Gets punished, whiffs. That's an unblockable command grab. You have to dodge it. Or hit grab rather, but yeah. Tried to go for a read with the 6B and then gets punished for it. Cool. So there's no way to easily go back 5 seconds no more. Like through all that, it's like you saw like a whole blocking sequence, and you would have assumed that through all that your Ofu player was at advantage, but reality is they ended up whiffing, they committed too much, they got whiff punished. Seeing that opportunity and capitalizing on it, whiff punishing. Just fundamental basics. Like it's nothing deep. It just seems deep because of the way it's normally worded, but it's like a lot of what your eyes knowing your character's toolkit and what your eyes can see can greatly help you navigate neutral. Also, getting hit by that is cool. Also, this Ryoku player is like really great at abusing their actual static difference and using like frame data. Like they're making people just want to contest them. So never get hit by that overhead if you play this game. You lost so much. That's like, if I recall, it's like 2400 raw. The button's stupid. 2B, like a whole bunch of pokes. Like, and that was a read. Like that was a reversal read. Like. Through all this is like they're like after that technically they can be contested, so I get why, but it's like no. Like so I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna get to one more match. So versus what the hell is this character's name that I somehow forgot? This character of death that can actually insta kill you. It starts with a B. Holy shit. Bacho. There we go. So we're just gonna vibe to this. I think I've said enough. We're just gonna watch the game play out. I think just having one game where I actually say nothing and we just watch the game play out is going to be fine. And at the end of that, I'll bid you adieu to this very long video to start this section. This character is ridiculous, this version. I swear to God, this character only gets buffs. Ooh. So yeah, this is a character that hurts. And so I was talking about characters that actually hurt earlier. This is the character I was referring to. This character is a crime against humanity. As you see, full everything spent, that's 10K basically. This character is a absolute crime. I I was not intending that to end up being the last game, but I'm gonna rewind just so you can see what happened because that was a whiff punish. Like I can't. Like that was legitimately just a whiff punish. Bar B whiffed and through understanding state of being, low profiling with 3C, which I forgot her 3C in this version now slides forward, and I don't remember if that's just always been the case. Getting whiff punish once led to this. Character is such a crime. 9,940 damage. Then frame kills. Throw whiff is plus. Throw whiff is not plus, it's a meme. You're gonna hear me meme that a lot, but like just because of the way reactions work, throw whiff is plus. It is a meme. Do not believe me once I say that shit. Um, Stuff like that can happen to you if you don't navigate the state of neutral. So, with this long ass video, thank you for tuning into it. This was the start of the neutral section. You will hear me go over multiple concepts throughout this. You also might have me bring in a guest or two to also speak on it because I think getting insight outside of me is also a good thing to have during this. On top of this will be a video heavy section where I will probably showcase more videos than anything. If not, I will just genuinely be yapping. So, thank you for tuning into the long vid as the start of the neutral section. Later, y'all.